Good afternoon, YouTubers. I'm not an expert. Today we're going to look at how to make this cabriole or Queen Anne style leg. So there it is up close. It's already kind of done. This is a practice leg I'm making out of a old 4x4 that I got off a pallet. Using instructions from Woodsmith magazine. This is a book, but these things I think used to be published in the magazine. Take a quick look at the plans. There they are. Here's the whole plans for the desk that I'm going to make. I'm going to make it out of African mahogany. Find the start of it. There it is. That's not a desk, I'm sorry, it's an end table. Queen Anne end table. And we're going to start by making the legs. And I'm using the guidance from this because this book, there's a template that you have to loft up to full size. And I'll show you how I cut my template out of a piece of 1/4-inch plywood. We'll do that in a minute. And then here there's complete instructions on how to actually shape the legs. Probably the best ones I've ever seen as far as here's how to do the cutting. So if you can find a copy of this Woodsmith article, it is a great way to do this. There are others. There's plenty of tutorials. There's drawing the legs and carving them out and a different project. So that's where we're going to go. We're going to step right into cutting the template out. I made the template with graph paper, copying their template, and just blowing it up and using a French curve to draw the curves on the template. And I came up with this in the end. So there's the final template. I didn't do the wings, but there it is next to the leg. And I can use that to make as many of these legs as I like. I've got my template, I've got my block of wood, which doesn't have the wings on it, and it should for actually doing the drawing, but for this demo version, for this test piece, I'm just going to do it this way. Remember where I put my pencil? I'm going to trace it. I'm going to make it pretty dark. And then this side, do the same thing, but with the template right here. All right, I've drawn all the lines. Now the trick is to cut them out. So we're going to cut from this side, tape the wood pieces back on, and cut from this side. Next up, we're going to take a look at what we've done. So I cut this piece off, but now I don't have any lines to cut on. So I'm going to tape it back into place with some double stick tape. You could do that, or some people just tape around it with like blue tape or masking tape. Make sure the lines are drawn back where I need them. I may have to fix that one. Oh, so you can't see that. I have to fix that one. I'm missing a piece here at the knee. To find that hunk that I cut out. Get that retraced. Or I can cut, actually, that one I can cut from this side. Yeah, that should work. That'll work out. It'll be okay. Make sure I get it cut right. That's why I drew the marks on all four sides. So let me get that taped up, and we'll go back over to the bandsaw and make the second cut. Now you see, in order to get, this is too long to work on that side of the blade. So in order to get it in there, I had to draw on both sides. And that's where gluing this back in gives you support to hold the, or I taped it back in. It gives you support to hold the project up and straight while I cut this last piece out of this side. Back over at the workbench. So let's take off, this is the piece I just cut. All right, it's going to be a couple pieces. And then I'll unglue that piece, untaped. And we'll untape that piece. And, okay, it may not look like a Queen Anne leg yet. Well, kind of a 8-bit version of a Queen Anne leg. When we get this done, it'll be pretty cool. So next I've got to draw some lines on it, and I'll go figure that out. I'll be back a little bit. So what I've done is you come down to the narrowest part of the ankle, and you divide it into fourths. So one in the center and one on each 1/4 inch. It's about 1 inch wide here. And then you draw a line from that center point, the same distance all the way up, and blend it into the corners. And then you do those 1/4 inch lines, blend it into the corners. And the same on this side. Now what I'm going to do is get out a spoke shave, probably a rasp, and who knows what else I want to play with. And you basically file it straight down to this first set of lines, just diagonal that off. Then this other set is where you start rounding from it, round the whole thing. Okay. All right, rounded quite a bit of it off. And you're seeing it's starting to look a bit more Queen Anne-y. Queen Anne-ish. Okay, here's the knee. After a little more sanding, starting to look pretty good. I think since this is just a practice piece, that's as much as I'm going to do with that. So now I will start in on the foot. All right, so I've made some cuts into the end. And I'm going to take my crosscut saw and I'm going to cut in here to get some of that out. And of course put the camera right in the way. That's a little easier. Some of those chunks to fall off. Time to round the foot off. So you can see here I have marked this into fourths, 3 lines, and I'm going to take a saw and cut the corners up. All right, now we're going to round the foot off. Let me take it out of the vise here for a second. So what we're going to do is, I've already done some rounding here, and then here at the heel, we're not going to round it completely off. We're just going to bring it in like this, into that curve there. So I'm going to do some work on that. Wait a second. There we go. I'm going to do this part. I'm going to use this Japanese rasp. There we go. Let's take a look. This is probably as far as I'm going to go with this. This is a practice leg after all. I may need to make another practice leg. You can see, if you look from this angle, I took too much off right here. And so now it's not balanced. It's not quite centered. Can't really see that from the front, but that'll give you an idea of what this table leg looks like. And look at that. It stands, back way up. It'll stand, if I get the camera vertical, it'll stand all by itself. Okay, because it's a pretty well balanced leg now. It's got enough of a footpad. So if you want to make one, I highly recommend making a practice leg. If you can find that article from Woodsmith, they definitely have the best instructions on how to make one of these. Yeah, that looks bad. Messed that up. But here's the knee. And then this should have wings on here, but I didn't make those because it looks like just a practice piece. So the next time, maybe you'll see me making the real one. I had to make 4 of them and get them to look the same. That's quite the challenge, is getting them all even enough. They'll be, about 15 inches apart, so they don't have to be quite perfect, but your eye will pick up on little differences pretty easily, so they have to be close. All right, that's all I'm going to do for this video. Hopefully I will not be too long in starting on the legs out of African mahogany. I have the wood. It should be pretty gorgeous. We'll catch you later.